Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I'm going to be working on my American Christmas gnome. This is my kit for DP for Veterans for the event that I'm running this month. I'm going to zoom in to where I'm going to be working because admittedly I have not made very much progress, and then we'll get started. Be right back. All right, let me start my timer here, grab my pen, and we'll get started. So I'm going to fill in some of these ABs first, just to finish off this little section. Okay, so let me jump in with my regular life. What's going on in my regular life? Well, a lot, it turns out. So we finally finished packing. We closed on our house last week and we packed everything into the trailer. It was kind of a crazy couple of days. We spent the last few days before closing kind of packing everything up that we needed to, getting all of the paperwork ready so that we had stuff ready to cross the border with everything, doing what we needed to do to get our vehicles imported and exported, all that stuff. Closing day itself was pretty painless. It was a cash sale, so it wasn't like we had a ton of papers to sign. Actually, it only took us about 30 minutes. Because basically they brought in a check, the title company wrote us a check, cashed their check, and we were on our way. So wasn't a ton of things to do, and we left from the closing to go put the money in the bank. We thought we were going to have a couple of hours afterwards, or I guess I did, after closing, to just because I thought the new owners would have more paperwork, but they didn't. And we had left my youngest at the house, and we still had just a few last minute things to do. I needed to empty the refrigerator. I needed to finish moving a couple of items, that sort of thing. The realtor's like, oh, they're coming over right after. So we had to skedaddle home, kind of hurriedly empty everything out, take it all out to the trash, finish cleaning out our fridge, get everything done. We earlier that morning had already put out our mattresses and everything. We called our trash service and they said they would come pick up the mattresses for us and the frames, the bed frames, but they have to send a separate big truck to get the big items like that. So we just had to leave them out by the side of the road until they could come get them. So closing was on Wednesday. They couldn't pick them up until Friday. So it kind of looked a little bit trashy in front of the house for a couple of days. Thursday was regular trash day. So we had a bunch of stuff out there. We couldn't fit everything in our just one trash bin. So we had multiple trash bags out there as well. And then the mattresses and everything. And we're like, sorry, I know it doesn't look very good, but they couldn't pick them up until Friday. That's the earliest we could get it done, so that's what we did. And the new owners were fine with that, so no big deal. It was just a lot of extra running around. It was pretty hectic after that because we hit the road right after closing. So we had the trailer all packed up, we had all of our stuff in it, we had all of our paperwork ready to go. So we headed for Canada. Because it was so hectic, I was not super happy. My daughter had planned to come over, which she did, but I thought we'd have time to kind of sit around the house. I wanted to do like a last walkthrough. I was going to do like a video of the house before we left. I didn't have time to do any of that because the new owners were coming over. My daughter thought closing would take longer than it did. She and my brother both were going to come up and say goodbye to us, and I called her and said, we're already done. She was still asleep. So she got up and came on over, but it was a very hurried, here we got to finish emptying out the house, love you, bye kind of thing. Just, I feel like I didn't get a really good chance to say goodbye, which was kind of annoying, but it is what it is. My brother drove up and he met us at the bank where we were cashing the check for the house, and we talked to him for probably a good 20 minutes or so, said goodbye to him, then well and truly hit the road. In case you weren't sure what that meant, I'm currently in Canada. We are at the rental. We have spent the last few days trying to figure out how everything here works. It's been kind of crazy. After the closing, we drove for 4 straight days. So we left Kansas. The first night we stayed in Missouri. We were trying to outrun a storm system, which was kind of crazy. We actually considered putting off leaving a day because it was kind of windy and my husband was afraid of driving with the trailer. But then we were like, no, let's just hit the road. If it gets too windy, we'll stop. So we made it all the way to Missouri. And we beat the storm system, so we were doing okay, making good time, all of that. And then we hit the hotel, went to bed, and at 2 a.m., all of our phones went off with an emergency alert, tornado in the area, seek shelter immediately. Hubby is unconcerned. My youngest apparently slept through the alarm, the notification. So I'm up trying to watch the weather and figure out, is it actually near us? It turned out it wasn't and everything was fine, but hubby's like, oh, I'm just gonna roll over and go back to sleep. I'm like, we're in a hotel. What if we need to be, we were on like the 3rd floor. What if we need to be down in their basement or something because there's a tornado coming? Turned out it wasn't anywhere near us, so it was fine, but I was up for a couple of hours. So I didn't get very much sleep that first night. And then we left from there and stopped in Ohio on the 2nd day. Pretty uneventful day of driving, no big deal. Hubby was a trooper driving through everything. It started raining as we pulled in Ohio and we thought, oh no, or is this storm system going to be behind us the entire way? But it actually finally dissipated, so we didn't have any 2 a.m. wake-up calls for tornadoes, thank goodness, that day, and got on the road for day 3. Day 3, we drove all day, stopped in New York. We weren't getting very good gas mileage once we hit kind of the New England states, Pennsylvania and on east. So many hills, dragging that big heavy trailer. I think we were getting, if we were lucky, 10 miles to the gallon. And if we weren't lucky, it was more like 5. But the car was a trooper. It drove the trailer with no problem. And hubby was great at driving in all the crazy traffic. On day 3, I made my son ride up front with hubby, and I put myself in the back so that I could diamond paint and ignore some of the traffic. Was construction everywhere. It's always crazy to me, especially this late in the year. I would have thought most projects would have been kind of wrapping up, but apparently not so much. So quite a bit of construction that he had to drive through, but like I said, hubby was a trooper. I'm so glad he was able to do that and I didn't have to worry about it, because we would never have made it if I'd had to drive. Day 4, we stopped in Bangor. We stayed at kind of a more fancy hotel than we'd been staying at. Had an Irish pub in it, and we ended up ordering room service rather than trying to go out anywhere, because we were just, after 3 days in the car, you wouldn't think just sitting there would be so tiring, but it so is. And we were just all exhausted by that point. So we got room service. Then we were trying to decide, do we stay another night in this hotel and cross the border on Monday, which is what our original plan was. Decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and go. Then we can be there, we can get out of the car, we can start getting settled, figure out what all things we need to do. Hubby had called before we left, and I think he called that night again just to double check, or one of the nights that we were on the road, if we could, because basically for the car, we had to export the car from the US and then import it into Canada. So we had to make sure that we could still do it. And they're like, oh yeah, we do it 24/7, 365 days a year. So anytime you come by. So we're like, let's just get on the road. It was going to be another 7-8 hours total to make it to the border. It was only like I think an hour or so to the border crossing, but then we had another 5 or 6 hours to drive to get to the rental. And I'm like, let's just go, get across the border, get done, start getting settled. And everybody else agreed, so we set off and headed to the border. We had to, there's like a little place to pull over to export, go in and export the car from the US. And then we go to the Canada side, and we had to go in, import the car, the trailer, give them the list of goods that we were bringing in and all that kind of stuff. It was such a painless process. The people at the border were awesome. They asked us some questions, but I gave her my spreadsheet and she was like, oh my gosh, you're so organized. Thank you. This makes this so much easier for me. And hubby had the paperwork for the car and everything. I think it took about 20 minutes. They didn't even look in the trailer. Although we were talking to someone in my husband's family and telling them that they didn't even look in the trailer. And she said, oh, a lot of times what they'll do is while you're inside going through all the paperwork and everything, they'll have the dogs sniff it. And if the dog doesn't hit on anything, then they just let you go on through. And I'm like, well, okay. Because we couldn't see the trailer or the car from where we were parked from inside. So I don't know if they actually did that or not, but they didn't ask to see in the trailer or anything. And we did all of our paperwork, put all of our John Hancocks on the lines, crossed the border into Canada. So it was relatively painless. I was pleasantly surprised. Because it took us so much longer to sell the house than we thought, we did not arrive in time to see all of the leaves changing, which was kind of a bummer. Everything was pretty much brown and dead by the time we were passing by. So not a lot of leaf peeping did we get done this year. So hopefully that is something we can add to our to-do list for next year, next fall, to go see the leaves change and all that stuff. So we're in Canada and we are officially Canadian residents. So we've spent the last week or so trying to get settled in. We got here, we basically just unloaded our suitcases and stuff that first night just so we could come in and sleep and kind of get a little bit rested. And then the next day we started unloading stuff from the trailer. We're still not done. There's still about half of the stuff in the trailer, but some of it is not going to be coming into the rental. Some of it is going to be going to his mom's house. She has very kindly agreed to let us store some things. We tried to find like some climate controlled storage. There is none of that where we are. So our only option was to have his mom store it or bring it into the rental, and the rental just does not have enough room. We're already pushing the limits of the rental with just a couple of, like finally getting my adjustable height desk set up. We ended up buying a new desk, so it was small enough to fit in the rental. Just kind of unpacking everything, finding, our toiletries and a lot of my diamond painting stuff and getting all that set up because I don't want to leave it just sitting out in the trailer forever. It's getting very cold here at night. It has been raining the last 2 or 3 days on and off, and it's supposed to snow on Monday. So we'll see if that happens or not. So I don't want to leave things just sitting out in the trailer indefinitely. I've got all my family framed photos that I obviously won't be hanging in somebody else's rental. A lot of personal mementos and that kind of stuff that there's really no need for me to unpack everything here in the rental. But again, just not something that I want sitting out in the freezing cold in the trailer. Some of it can stay in the trailer. Hubby's got 4 totes full of like work gear, tools and clothing and stuff like that. That kind of thing, it can stay out in the trailer. It's not going to hurt anything. But for some of the other stuff, I definitely want it to be indoors. So I think we got all of my diamond painting stuff unpacked, and we're just down to basically, I think, personal mementos, hubby's work stuff, maybe some electronics, maybe some kitchen stuff, but everything else is kind of personal things. So, and we still have a whole bunch of things to do. Hubby still has to go get the car inspected here in Canada because it has a bunch of criteria that it has to meet. I think the only thing he has to do that it doesn't have like the little warning airbag stuff in English and French. So he has to get little stickers for that. but it does kilometers instead of miles for the speedometer and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's the only thing he has to do, but we have to go get it inspected and finish that import process and then go get insurance on it, get it registered, get the new tags, all that kind of stuff. We've got to get the trailer registered, all that. We need to set up bank accounts, which that was a weird thing because apparently banks here, like in the US, you just walk in, I want to set up a bank account. They're like, okay, give me your documentation, give me your money, here's your bank account. Here, we have to make an appointment. You can't just walk in and talk to anybody. And the bank that we went to can't see us until next week. And I'm like, that's crazy to me, because when we went into the bank, the 3 people that she said are the ones who set up accounts, all in their little offices, all of them with no people in their office. Like, what are you doing all day? Crazy. Anyway, so we've got to set up bank accounts. We got to get our driver's licenses changed. And then we went, and it's like, well, because we rented this place over the internet, everything was just, the landlord didn't sign it, which apparently has to happen for the driver's license people. So she's actually down in the US for a week. So we have to wait for her to get back so she can give us a lease with her signature on it and all of ours, so we can go do driver's licenses and all those kinds of things. I still need to finish up paying the last of the bills from the US house. Our internet has been paid, so that's done, but the city bill, which was gas, water, sewer, trash, I have to call and do by phone because I can't pay it online. My electric I can pay online, but I gotta wait. And then I've got to pay other bills because we, of course, put the hotel rooms on our credit card while we were traveling. So I need to get on and pay that. It's just been very crazy. And actually, it's only been really yesterday that I kind of got all the diamond painting stuff set up where I sort of want it, and all of my office basically stuff set up where I want it. So it's all basically in one room. There's a big, large living room, and I've got my business household stuff set up at one desk. I've got my adjustable table out here for all my diamond painting stuff, but we've had to order some additional like cabinets and things because there just isn't enough in the rental for our personal stuff and the way we want to store it. So it'll be things that'll be going with us to wherever our new place is, but for the 6 months that we're going to be here, we needed something. So we did some shopping on Amazon to get that done. So I've been very busy, but there's also been a lot of ups and downs. So a lot of nice ups, figuring out getting across the border and it being relatively painless, getting here, getting settled, all that kind of stuff. We got a post office box so we can have mail delivered here. We've got lots of things just kind of going on to get our lives set up, which is fine. And doing all of that stuff keeps me really busy, which is awesome, because then the next day when we don't have so much to do, I'm sitting around going, oh no, what have I done? Everything is so different and unusual, not necessarily in a bad way, but just it's so different to anything my son and I have ever known before. Of course, hubby's in his element. He's basically back home. He knows where everything is. Right now we just have the one vehicle, so he's doing all of the driving. But just little things like we got rid of our home printer, which was also a scanner fax copier machine. Hubby needed to do some stuff to print out a paper and then fax it back, and we basically had to go to Staples to do all of that because we don't have a printer. Just things that I took for granted because our household had been set up for so long in the States, and now kind of having to figure out how to either work around or what to do to get it set up here. As we get more established and as things get more quote unquote normal for me, like I'm actually feeling pretty good because I spent, like I said, part of today getting all of my office stuff organized, getting caught up on the bills, making sure I know how much money we have, how much we have to spend, what bills are coming due, all of that. So that's a weight off my mind. I put all the bills of us traveling, so all of our hotels, all the gas, all that kind of stuff is in there. So that's all taken care of. So that kind of weighed off my shoulders. I did tell hubby though that trying to figure out how to fit all of our stuff and organize it the way we want in this rental has just made me want to house shop ASAP. I mean, the landlord is lovely. We rented this place knowing that it was going to be furnished so that we didn't have to bring all of our things with us. But it is stuffed to the gills with furniture. And so trying to figure out how to move stuff around has been interesting, because some of the spots that we thought we would have to use are not usable. Furniture doesn't fit the way we thought it would. And so, yeah, it's just been a little bit crazy. My son overheard me saying that I wanted to house shop ASAP, and he's like, Mom, I do not want to move anytime soon. I don't want to. He is not looking forward to moving boxes and packing stuff up and all that again. And I said, well, at least this time when we move out of the rental, we'll be moving within the same town. So we can take several days, weeks, whatever, depending on when we find something, to get things moved. So we can just make short hops, and we can take little trips that don't have to be everything in our entire household all in one go. Our trailer was stuffed to the gills, and when hubby went to open it, things obviously had shifted during the trip, but so far nothing has gotten broken. So my stuffing everything with towels and washcloths and bubble wrap and packing and all of that has so far paid off. So I'm calling that a win. Even my little victory statue is now currently sitting out where I can see it, and she made it with no wear and tear as well. So I'm pretty happy with that. So we're now in Canada. I'm going to be working on the new Midwest to Maritime channel. Huge thank you to all of you who've already subbed over there. I will stick that link down below, so if you haven't subbed, you can go check it out. That is going to be another channel for me where I am going to kind of talk about how it is strange, different, unusual, scary, whatever, to be an American in Canada. Because YouTube time is weird, there may be stuff that shows up here before it shows up over there, or vice versa. I'm only planning on posting one video a week on that channel, and I have some technical issues to work out. I don't know if I need to get a different mic, or if it's just my filming. I haven't mastered the walk and talk. I think I've got a trailer filmed for that channel that will go up soon, so if you want to go check that out. I haven't listened to it yet to see how the mic did, so we'll see. But anyway, so I've got that going on as well. But all the long hours and days of packing and sorting and wrapping and donating finally paid off. We're done. The house was sold. We've moved. We're here. And now the new adventure begins. We do need to house hunt, but I told hubby I think we're going to wait maybe until after the first of the year to do that. Maybe. We'll see. I think that's the plan for now, though. So I'm just going to try to spend the next couple months, month and a half, until the first of the year, relaxing with hubby and the youngest, just kind of getting used to our new living spaces and town. FaceTiming my daughter. I'm supposed to be doing that with her after I get done filming here. She's anxious to see how everything is all set up. I'm trying to decide whether we want to go down for American Thanksgiving, if we want to try and bring her up here for American Thanksgiving, if I want to wait and bring her up sometime around Christmas. Flying into Canada is always dicey, so I'm not sure what we're going to do. I'm not up for another drive at the moment, so that's out. So whatever happens, it would have to be somebody flying, but we'll see. We are definitely having to make some adjustments. For example, I had no idea it would get dark at 4 o'clock. So we're 2 hours ahead. We're now on Atlantic time. And even with daylight savings time ending and gaining an hour, it still gets dark at 4 o'clock here. So it's been like, okay, let's go get all of our running around done before 4 p.m. so that we can be home and all nice and cozy in the cottage before it gets dark. It's been rainy the last couple of days. Today it's super windy. So I've had the windows shades up so that we could watch all the giant waves as they roll in on the beach. I'm going to be sad to lose the beach access after we get out of here, but I told my husband I don't really want to live this close to the water. I don't want to be this close to the water now. I mean, it's nice to be able to go out on the beach, but the novelty will wear off quickly. I would rather be closer into town. We're a little ways out from things out here, especially once the snow hits, because I don't think hubby's going to go back to work until after the first of the year. So he'll be here to drive. But if my youngest needs to go anywhere and he has to drive somewhere, I don't know that I want him driving in all this snow. We get snow at home, but nothing like we will get here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So yeah, that's, if you guys have wondered why the content on the channel has been kind of crazy lately, it's because this last week while I was filming and editing and uploading, I was doing all of that in hotel rooms while we were on the road. And I didn't want to say anything until we were finally here and kind of set up and I was a little more organized and all of that. So apologies if anything wasn't up to regular snuff. Hopefully it is here in the cottage as well. So far it's been okay. We did spend some time shopping for some things on Amazon. We were able to get our zero sugar Dr. Pepper here, so that's been great. However, probably sometime this summer, I fell in love with Gold Peak zero sugar tea. And the only brand that Canada apparently has is Pure Leaf. And we can't find anybody that has the zero sugar tea, nor can we find anyone who has my husband's favorite zero sugar Italian sweet cream creamer. We've got some shopping around to do to see if we can find substitutes for those sorts of things, or hubby and I are going to be making a trip down to Bangor to see if we can find some of that stuff in Bangor. That's going to be so funny, across the border. Do you have anything to declare? Yeah, we had to go to the States to find the tea I want, because we tried ordering it on Amazon. We couldn't do that either. So yeah, tons of things going on. And like I said, I kind of wanted to get here and get everything kind of settled before I told you guys that we were moving. Oh, and one last thing, because I've had a couple of you ask me about it and I hadn't said anything because I didn't know anything. I finally heard back from my doctor. I had called several times asking for them to call me back with my biopsy results, and I had never heard anything back. And I was starting to get kind of annoyed, honestly. And I finally called and left a message directly with the nurse. And it was still another 3 days before someone called me back. And she was very apologetic, didn't know what had happened. Somehow my results were there, but they got lost in the shuffle and nobody realized that they hadn't called me to give them to me. So thank you so much to everybody who was sending good vibes and positive thoughts, because everything came back benign. So a huge weight off of my mind that I don't need any surgery or anything at the moment. They don't really know what's causing the nodules, but they aren't growing. Things are not bothering me. I'm not having any issues. In fact, I think the swelling that I had noticed has actually gone down. So as long as I'm feeling good and nothing is bothering me, just a recheck ultrasound in 6 months to see if anything has changed. If anything has changed, they'll evaluate at that time. If nothing has changed, then it would be another 6 months for a recheck. Whether I get that done here or in the US, I don't know. I would imagine I'll probably have it done here after 6 months. We should have everything set up and be good to go, but you never know if something would happen while we were visiting in the States or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, huge weight off of my mind. Everything is good. It was all nothing to worry about. Gosh, I've probably been talking forever. That's it for my life update. We're in Canada, I'm healthy, and we just have lots of stuff to do. So for my diamond painting update, what's been going on? Well, as you can tell from my kit here, I've not gotten a lot done. Because we were traveling and a lot of this stuff was packed away in the trailer or at the back of the vehicle, and so it was kind of a pain to get it in and out. I just haven't gotten a lot done, so I'm going to be trying to make up time for how behind I am on this kit and get some things done, because it is a round kit. It won't take me very long once I get going. It's just a matter of sitting down and actually putting some drills on the canvas. And as we were busy unpacking and everything, I just hadn't had a ton of time to do that. So I'll be making up for that. I have been watching everybody's posts in the Facebook group. Please continue doing your awesome posts. That is amazing. I love seeing all the stuff that everybody is working on. Hopefully now that our little cross-country trek is done, I will have more photos of my own to share as I start working on this kit and making some progress with it. I did manage to finish the little mini landmarks kit, so you guys will be seeing the finished pictures of those soon. The day that I had my son set up in the front seat and I sat in the back while hubby was driving through basically New York, Pennsylvania, and all of that traffic, I sat in the back seat and I diamond painted, and it was awesome because I finished the landscape kits. I sat in the back seat and I diamond painted, and by the time we were ready to stop and stretch our legs, I had been diamond painting for 4 hours. The time just flew by, and I wasn't having to watch traffic and get upset and be anxious because of all the traffic. So it was awesome. My son and my husband had a good time talking to each other and messing with the radio and talking about music and all of that while they were traveling. So it was a good time. They enjoyed me not being less anxious, and I enjoyed me being less anxious. In addition to being behind with this kit, I am still not done with Conversation either, the Halloween one, the third one that I started for Drills and Chills. I hope to finish that one soon too, but I don't know when that will happen. Hopefully this one and that one both will be finished before the end of November, but we'll see. I don't know how much of my time is going to be taken up doing things like my husband had to get his Canadian social insurance number reactivated because it had gone dormant because he'd been in the States for so long. So he had to visit Services Canada. We've already made several trips to the provincial services office, and we still have to make a few more. So we'll see how much I get done, but I'm aiming to get both of them done by the end of this month. And maybe the other set of the little mini kits, the little succulents. I don't know if I'll get both of those or all 3 of those done, but I'm going to try. As far as DP for veterans go, I know that some people have already posted they've completed their kits for the event. So I will post the link for the exit form in the description box below. Technically, I said I was going to open it on the 15th, but I usually open it early because somebody always finishes early. So just make sure that you check out the link and make a note of it somewhere so that you have it. Remember, for the exit form, you do have to have a finish photo, so make sure you have your photo ready to upload for the form when you go to fill out the form. And then I also ask whether or not you are okay with me including your finish photo in my video montage that I do at the end when I do the drawing. So make sure that you check yes, no, or whatever option you want for that when you submit your form. Other than that, not a whole lot going on in my diamond painting world. Because we were mid-move, I didn't want to order any kits. I saw a couple this week, yesterday, that I was kind of tempted by. But after moving everything cross-country, I have more than enough at the moment, even though I didn't increase my stash. And after moving everything into the rental, it's kind of funny. We lived in a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. So I had the living room where my adjustable table was set up, where I worked most of the time. But then all of my computer and household stuff and my filming area and all of that was set up in a 2nd bedroom. And not having all of that room here, because we just have 2 bedrooms in the rental, it's been kind of a Jenga challenge trying to figure out what we can fit where and how everything is going to work. And we're still not quite there. Like I said, we've had to order a couple of pieces of furniture. We bought a desk. We have some storage, a cabinet of storage coming and things that will go with us to the new house. But because of all of that, my point is that I did not order anything new kit-wise. And after moving everything out of the trailer and into the rental, I'm like, I probably need to just concentrate on doing some of these diamond paintings that I already own before I worry about buying anything more. I don't want to specifically put myself on a no-buy. I'm not saying that I'm going to do that. I have money to spend if there are stuff that come out on Black Friday that I want, but I don't think until Black Friday that I'm purposely going to go look for anything to purchase, because I just don't have space for it, frankly, at the moment. I don't know where I would put anything if I bought any more. Even if I just went to the local Michael's and bought some stuff, I don't know where I would put it. So I'm probably going to be just looking at cool diamond paintings for the next couple of weeks till Black Friday rolls around, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to say for my diamond painting life. Again, not a whole huge lot going on with it because everything was happening in real life. So now that real life hopefully has settled down a bit, and as we get settled in to our new digs, then diamond painting stuff will pick back up. So you can see I've made some progress here. I still have some more to go. I've got to finish the little green and red section here and finish that, and then I can move on to the next section. But like I said, this is a round, and now that I've got some time to concentrate, I can spend some time while hubby is watching football, working on this and getting it all done and getting caught up with everyone else. Again, don't forget that the link for the exit form for the DP for Veterans event is below. Make sure you have that all filled out. You've got to have the entry and exit form both filled out to be entered in the final prize drawing. The event ends on November 30th at the end of the month, so likely that first week of December is usually when I will have the montage video with everybody's lovely finishes, and I will do the drawing to see who wins the prize. I think that's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.